Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys. Just to let you know, episode 20. Behind the Mask, the Rise of Leslie Vernon. We're trying... Jeez! What the hell, man?
I'm Jim.
And that... Well, no, I'm over here now. I'm still Chevy.
Get up there.
We're trying for something else. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
We're trying a different
We're seeing this little layout here. Hopefully it's a little bit better for you.
Yeah.
We're on episode 20 now.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for helping me get to episode 20.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for having me.
That's a little podcast milestone. I've done a lot of shows, so when we hit 20, it's kind of like, oh, we'll keep actually doing that. It does. You'll be surprised. It's hard to get to 20.
Well.
But we're going to cover Behind the Mask, the Rise of Leslie Vernon from 2006, one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
Mine now.
Glad you like it. Glad
honestly, this is one of those. I don't want to say it was independent, kind of, sort
somewhat
of, but
low budget, yeah,
low budget, whatever. But I never heard of it until you told me about it last year.
Yeah,
and it's a great movie. It's once again along the lines of spoof or.
But it's its own
somewhat
horror.
Comedy, but the comedy goes away. It really does.
Yeah,
I mean,
like halfway through, it just stops and it becomes its own horror movie. And it's
and you can
exciting.
definitely tell that how they filmed it in the movie, where the mockumentary documentary,
which we should tell them.
And this, well, yeah.
The whole premise.
Once again, here I go.
The whole premise. If you never heard of the movie,
Jim is more well versed on this than I am, so I'm going to let Jim give a good synopsis
quickly. Yeah, it's basically a movie about a college film team that are going to do a basically behind the scenes look at a serial killer, a guy who wants to come back and be like Jason, Michael, Freddy, all them guys.
Who all exist in
they're all in the same
real
universe.
world. So
awesome.
And you can see that in the beginning too. Whenever they talk about,
yeah, they talk about Freddy and Jason, Crystal Lake, then Freddy, then Michael.
more so or less, the man from Springfield.
Yeah.
If you even dream about him, rumor is you'll die in your sleep, and they try to bring him into the real world.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then they talk about Jason. He comes back he just comes back every summer, or
defending his territory.
Yeah. And Michael and all that. So
the prodigal son, Michael Myers.
Yeah, I mean, aside from some of the really, really bad B movies, C movies I've seen, this is one of the best movies that actually do acknowledge other horror movies and other slasher killers, and like they're in the same world, and they've existed like we do with Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right, and I would kind of call it like Scream's child, because Scream kind of, I don't want to say Scream spoofed it. It was a serious movie, but the rules and this and Don't Run Upstairs and The Virgin.
Yeah, they talk about all of that.
Yeah, they take this movie takes it to a whole another level.
Yeah, it's not like they're talking about horror movies. They're talking about the real world,
right? In
this movie, which is really cool. So, and they basically follow this guy around who's trying to come back as this Leslie Vernon guy who was killed over a waterfall by the townspeople 20 years ago. But really, he's a different guy altogether, just coming back to assume that identity.
Did he really make up the identity, or was it just...
No, that was a legend from the town.
Okay.
But he knew that and then went back to try to...
that's what I gathered too.
Be Leslie Vernon. He was Leslie Mancuso was his real name, and he was a crazy person in the hospital. And he had a doctor who, in this movie, is played by right there Robert Englund.
That was Robert Englund?
I think so. Yes.
Guy looked familiar.
And he's wearing the trench coat. Has obviously the Dr. Loomis vibe going. And it's really cool that he was able to do that. And they talk about Freddy in the movie, and he's in the movie. It's really cool. And they have a lot of references. Jason's in the movie. Kane Hodder lives in Freddy's house. We'll talk about all that later, too, probably.
Yeah.
And then Scott Wilson from Walking Dead, met him in Pittsburgh a couple years ago. Really, really sweet guy.
Very nice guy.
He saw me in the hotel and saw my tattoo, and he was like, "Oh, come over to the table when you get over there. I'll take a picture with you." So he walked over, took it, and just came over and said, "Come on, man, take a picture with me."
Those are the celebrities, the movie stars that are the ones that I really want to go. Like Tom Cruise, fuck you.
Yeah, but like he was so cool. And but then there's a big twist at the end where what we thought was happening really isn't happening, and we'll get to that also too. But this is really one of the smartest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk about too, the whole twist at the end, because that's why I was asking about Leslie Mancuso, the main protagonist.
That's who Nathan Basil plays in the movie. Leslie Vernon, but his real name is Leslie Mancuso.
That's why I was wondering if he just, they say he's from Las Vegas or Reno or wherever.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did he just make up the whole thing about Leslie Vernon? Was it really an urban legend? I mean, did he just find this abandoned house and all that? I mean,
no, I believe the whole story was true.
See, I kind of was going both ways.
And like he would be like a psycho on the internet looking for urban legends or something, and he probably found, much like we have urban legends around here, every town has them, and probably say, oh wow, that's a good one. And he's all the way over in Reno, so he goes all the way to Maryland. Obviously, he's not going to know anybody. He can get up and leave. So I think it was an urban legend story he went to try to make true.
But he went way,
yeah,
and you can see it when he starts moving about town with Taylor and Doug and Todd and everything. He's got step one. Let me see. Step one. You got to anchor your legend. Well, the legend of Leslie Vernon. The anniversary of his death, the house, blah, 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 and teenagers go there to do whatever teenagers do.
The old abandoned house, you go there, you smoke
exactly,
weed,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Then after that, he's outside. Apparently he wasn't in, what's the name? I can never remember. The Glen
Echo?
Echo.
Mm-hmm. That's actually the name of the production company.
I keep wanting to say Glen Eden, I don't know why.
Glen Echo Entertainment, actually.
But then he's telling them, look, okay, outside of this school or church or whatever it is, here's my target group. Now you got to have your target group. They might be good because look how young they are. They're full of vigor, and they can do this, and they're sexual prime, and yada, yada, yada. And, but he doesn't pick them. He already has somebody picked out, Mm-hmm. And then it's not really said in the movie. I'm calling it, this is when they were at the library, when everything starts. I called it planting the seed, where he makes the clipping of, apparently...
The backstory.
The backstory. What we think is the, last girl, the virgin Kelly Curtis. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, it's all photoshopped. I took her face. Oh, it's her great uncle. He raped my mother, blah, blah, this and that. And he goes into making everything real. I mean, and we even see it towards... the middle of the movie, how he plans everything out. We're talking like...
Oh, yeah, everything.
Wow.
All the things
he
that
set up everything.
All the things you think that, like, the characters in horror movies, like, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? They reference that. Like, why don't they break out the window in the first floor? There's always a second floor above. Why do they go on the roof? And they say about it, like they're going to go on the roof, and then he plans for them to do that.
And he actually says, I've cut all the limbs so they can't climb, but the ones on the second floor I've actually cut through to kind of sabotage it. And you sit there
sabotage the weapons.
Yep. Exactly.
So we see why these Jason and Michael get back up all the time, and the weapons are
exactly.
He's explaining you why these killers survive.
So it's
they
kind
set traps and shit.
It's kind of cheating, but it's not. It's called preparation.
Yeah.
And after I saw this movie the first time, sitting there going, okay, I can remember how many horror movies or whatever, they climb out a window, they're on a roof, and he even says it. If they climb out the window on the second floor and they get on the roof, they're basically fucked.
Mm-hmm.
They got. A tree has been there for how many years, and all of a sudden somebody climbs and snap.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're thinking to yourself, all right, did Jason do this?
How many times have we seen that in a horror movie?
Exactly, and it's very smart
writing. I started thinking
it's a
about
brilliant script.
Halloween 4, them out on the roof with Michael. He chases them out from the attic onto the roof. I'm like, damn, dude, he went out on the roof. Like he knew they were going to do that.
Yep,
like he planned that. Like that's really cool to think. So like I said, the writers were so smart with this movie. Getting the famous people that got in it. The librarian from, she's from Poltergeist.
Zelda.
Yeah, Rubenstein.
Stein.
It's whatever, yeah.
This house is clean.
I love I couldn't imagine dealing with that voice every day though.
I don't know if that was her actual voice or if that's the voice.
Every time I heard her talk, it was like that.
It's true.
I think she was a little person, so it makes sense. So
I've only seen her in a couple movies, Poltergeist.
Scott Wilson from Walking Dead. We referenced him already, and he's wearing a hat from Cruise Market in Texas. It's actually a sponsor from the movie that you see in the credits. Their name. I'm like, it's really cool because I saw the word and I thought it said Krug. I'm like, oh, another Kruger reference, but it says Cruise.
It took me a while to read it. It was like, what the hell does that say?
So I actually paused it, looked at it. I was like, I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, it's real.
And it's kind of
they're open right now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that he's wearing that hat, and it's out when they're barbecuing, making the...
Yeah, it was his. It's actually a sausage company.
Yes.
So it's their sausage. They're grilling in
the
the movie.
kielbasa or whatever you want to call it.
They've been grilling since 1901.
1901.
I did look them up, yes.
Did you?
There's Mrs. Zelda. She is the first death, too, by the way.
Yeah, she is.
At the hands of Leslie, and then we get...
Now you say that, well, let's talk about the deaths.
We will. And hopefully there's a death video on this episode.
I do believe there is.
We'll find one, and I'll put that on there for you.
I do believe there is, but I've got a problem with the numbers.
Okie dokie.
But the kills in this one, I don't want to say... I mean, there's nothing spectacular. I mean,
no, this movie's definitely about kills,
there's some throats being slit, a pitchfork, which I loved, by the way, how they did it, how they had the appliance on the guy.
Mm-hmm. And then he actually
and the Leslie is standing behind him. When the guy slides, he kind of moves his fork and moves it so it looks like the guy fell off the fork, which is kind of cool. The fucking post hole digger.
Mm-hmm. In the heart.
By far my favorite. I have never seen somebody in a horror movie or a slasher movie get killed by a post hole digger.
Yeah, the dude's on the ground, he puts it in his chest, and you see the heart come up, and then he puts it in his hand, and the kid holds it up, and then holds it up to his face. I mean, it's cool as shit.
Yeah.
I mean really jello-y blood, but still, it's okay.
Well, yeah, it
was cool.
But none of they weren't over the top kills. I mean, he wasn't trying to, the directors and the producers and everybody involved with the movie wasn't trying to, like Friday the 13th, yeah, Friday the 13th, part 6. You had to start going I came up with the same kind of thing every year for Halloween. I did something for Halloween. What am I going to do next year? I got to do something bigger and bigger and bigger. This didn't have any of that. I mean, we had a good old fashioned off screen neck snapping with the. It
was all sound effects. Like when you went in the bedroom, all you hear is the stabbing. And I do think this was a conscious decision by the writers too, because when you have a good script, you don't need to rely on gore, nudity. Exactly. There's a little booby showing, but it's very funny.
Hey, who's telling the story, you or me?
Me.
Those things were about... Never mind.
They were. They flipped out like,
wow.
National Geographic. But
you could have rested a coconut on them.
But yeah, they came out, that's it. But it was kind of jokey because it's the way they did it was funny. It wasn't sexual at all.
But that's another thing too, though. If you're really... I mean, it took me a couple times to watch this because the first time going through, like, whenever it's revealed that it was never Kelly as the final girl, it was Taylor.
Yeah.
There are small hints all the way through it. Sorry. Bad co-host. No, but like you said, and the biggest one is, they go upstairs to try to help Kelly out, and Kelly's... Yeah, wait a minute. That's not what a final girl is.
No.
And even the position she was in definitely means that she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I think right there is whenever Taylor started realizing something's not right.
Right, exactly. I mean, you take a look at the way Taylor, no makeup, she refuses a beer, phone goes ding ding again.
Speaking of ding ding, I want to let everybody know that if you ever watch an episode and you want to contact us, if you ever want to message us,
let me shut this off.
We'll answer your questions. If you want to contact the show, we'll let you know when we're recording, and we might be able to schedule a call for you to come in.
Oh, absolutely.
A couple people have asked us, but I'm letting you know on the show.
Yeah.
Message the page if you want to ask a question on the show.
Yeah, even with like I said, the whole, final girl and everything and all that shit. I mean, just the way Taylor was dressed, once again, no makeup, buttoned up like a damn icebox, refuses the beer, and you could see where it's suggested that, you really got to pick it up, and old horror fans that have watched this stuff countless number of times will pick up on things like that. Very subtly done, but very, very good way of, basically taking what Leslie lays out to everybody and just, that's not his plan at all. He's planned Taylor from day one that she's going to be the final girl. Everything. And
there's also a moment, too, where they're sitting somewhere and he cries and says, "I'm so happy." And he says, "We got a couple hours. I'm going to go make final preparations." He's doing that alone for the other parts he was doing with Taylor and the other guys.
Right.
So, right there is where I believe he was making the changes for them. So that's why everything was done. You know what I mean?
I think it was a way I think it was a way to throw Taylor off. I mean, I really think he had everything planned out as we see it.
Yeah, and then
with
after
those
he
three
knew
already
she was
in
on
it.
the hook.
Yeah.
And then, like, because he knew she was going to go for the axe in the back of the shed, so he broke that one because he told her about the ones in the front. So he did that the last couple hours, I think.
Yep.
So
the pickaxe was even broken or whatever, you know, just in case, you know, they don't get me on the first swing or the whole thing about, you know, his whole theory behind everything, empowering the virgin to make her strong and get, you know, into the man's world, the whole thing with, you know, all that stuff, and it just, you know, kind of, like I said, it was brilliant.
I agree.
It was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it.
But there's definitely times where I'm watching this movie and I'm like, okay, that's definitely not on a microphone, by the way.
I don't know.
But I'm going to cut here, but I'm going to make a little cut here. So we'll just...
Whatever you got to do.
We'll come back to this one.
What are you going to do for what?
I don't know.
We ain't making no cuts.
Right.
We're all live here, baby.
I usually do.
We're live here. What were you going
I don't remember. I was losing my train of thought there. I don't know.
We were going to talk about like the final way everything was done. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about how he was planning and everything, one of the things that he really doesn't focus on too much is when he either in not the shed, but the final little garage or whatever that had the cider press.
Yeah.
He dwells on the weapons. Oh, this one's been rigged. Oh, I've rigged this, rigged that. He doesn't say too much about the cider press.
No.
Okay, you know, I mean, I really think, I mean, if he was as brilliant as I think he is in the movie, planning all this stuff out, and even the cardio. You don't know how much cardio I have to do to try to make it look like I'm just walking and everybody's running, which was another funny part. I really, the first time I saw that, I laughed my ass off. But I believe the cider press was rigged. So it really didn't kill him. Even the part where...
he made it seem like it wasn't anything when he said, well, it's going to have some apples, I'm going to make some apples.
Exactly.
He made it seem like it wasn't a weapon at all. And I think he took it made a fake bottom or something, and his head was able to go down.
Yeah. And the brilliance of it, too, whenever he's putting, like, you know, getting prepared for the night, you know, putting the stuff on his face, you know, nice little... I've even added some fireproofing to it, so, you know, blah, blah, blah. Was he 100% sure that Taylor was going to burn the place down? I mean, we saw the gas cans and everything, and, you know, which leads to the nice little stay through the ending credits. I'm telling you right now. Stay through it.
I mean, you get to hear a song the whole time, which is...
And you get to see, and you get to see some stuff too. I'm not giving that one. Don't you dare give it away.
Well, yeah. Just watch till the very end of the credits, by the way.
Yeah.
And look closely. Because I noticed last night. It was pretty hard.
Yeah,
it was pretty hard to see this through the credits when I was looking last night.
Yeah.
But I saw it originally, like, really good.
Yeah.
It was weird. I knew it was there.
But even, you know, even with, you know, going back to the planning and everything, and not trying to... The spark plugs. When he's getting ready and he's sitting there with everybody up in the room and he's like, oh, took the spark plugs out. I will not be getting run over tonight. Well, then we learn a little bit later, all the people who drove there, the 8 teenagers, are like, all our tires have been slashed. And you sit to yourself going, well, wait a minute. Why would you took the spark plugs out of the van?
Out of the Taylor and the guy filming everybody. Van.
In case...
And you didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he decided that before he even killed the first 2 kids.
Right.
So he already knew what was going to happen the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Like I'm saying, I still think he had everything planned out. Plan A was everything that happens with Taylor and all that. Plan B, when he was explaining everything and taking him on a tour in the house, you know, all the windows have been screwed or nailed shut, and except for the second floor. And I think that was called Plan B for bullshit. Just to try to throw Taylor off. Yeah.
I think everything was planned. Yeah, everything he did, he meant for.
There it was.
Oh, they got another one for you.
There it was. There we go. But, yeah, I mean, it's brilliantly written. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's parts, like I said in the beginning, that'll make you laugh. I mean, what cracked me up, the first thing was I didn't realize... The first time I saw it, how deep everything was going to go, but the brick with the monofilament line on it. I laughed my ass off at that. Like, something as simple as trying to make the door close.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor, you go over here and you pull this. I'm gonna, getting her involved in, his thing. And I really don't think, at that point, I think she just thought he was being silly, wasn't going to go through with it. Later on in the movie, she realizes he's dead fucking serious about this, and,
That's what's cool about it. But yeah, I'm going to take a break.
Take a break.
We're going to take a break.
We got some good stuff.
Have some kills for you probably in the commercial break, and we will be back with some more. Lots of more.
Oh, we haven't even gotten into
Lots
Easter
more.
eggs.
Lots more entertaining Easter eggs and facts for you. So we will be right back.
Don't go away.
Unpaused.
Yay.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that nice little break from our annoying voices, I guess. A little surprise for you, though. I do want to say, as of, I think today...
Wait a minute, I got to put the phone down, because, I'm trying to take care of stuff from the break.
Yeah, well,
talking with me.
We got you.
Okay.
We're going to be starting, hopefully next week, it's launched, darkdiscussions.com, which is a new podcast network, formerly horophilia.com. I used to be on that network, and a lot of shows are coming onto this new one, so we will be on, and our first episode on that network will be this one, so
I love it.
if you're listening now, thank you for listening listening on Dark Discussions, and if you're watching this, thank you, and go on over to Dark Discussions and listen to all the other podcasts.
And if you guys have been listening through Facebook and then YouTube, thanks for being with us this whole time. We greatly appreciate it. We have a blast doing this. Yeah,
20, man. We love it. So we will get back into Behind the Mask, the Rise of Leslie Vernon / Mancuso. So, pound it.
Pound it. Bow
it. From the movie. Go watch it. So, what do you got on your...
No, it's interesting. You said, Mancuso. We both know, and you guys now will know, this was a spoof of a slasher or horror movies by horror fans. Mm-hmm. Let's dive into some of the Easter eggs. And I've got a list here.
We're just going to go off your list.
Brilliant minds behind doing stuff. Might as well just go at the very beginning of the movie. Taylor standing outside of the Red Rabbit Lounge.
Rabbit and Red Lounge.
I'm calling it the Red Rabbit Lounge. Rabbit and Red, whatever you want to call it.
From Halloween.
That's when Michael steals the car. That's the matchbook that Loomis finds.
The tow truck drivers.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to Scratch that off. Very beginning of the movie, we see an unmasked, unmakeup, unhockey masked Kane Hodder.
We do.
That was supposedly the neighbor of one Frederick Krueger walking into 1428 Elm Street.
So, yeah, he lives in Freddy Krueger's house, which is a line that I didn't need. That's one line that I was like, she didn't need to say neighbor, because it really doesn't make sense. If you know it's Freddy's house, we know it's Freddy's house.
I'm still iffy about that whole thing.
She should have said, the line should have been, oh, can we talk to you about the man who used to live in your house? Why did she have to say your neighbor?
See, I'm still fuzzy on that whole thing, if that's...
Because it's his house. We know it's his house.
If it was... Because, in the sequels and everything, that's not what the house looked like. But that's neither here nor there.
But it had the red shutter, so it was from the original.
When Leslie is talking about, making eye contact with that girl. Look at the... we had an... Mm-hmm. There's 3 little girls in white in the back jump roping. Yeah. If you don't know what that is... 1, 2, he's gonna come and get you.
Right there. There he is.
Yep.
Right.
I got... Son of a... This one's a little bit, I don't want to say obscure or whatever, but Eugene supposedly is Billy, the killer from the original Black Christmas.
Yeah. You never seen Black Christmas? Go check out Black Christmas.
Yeah. You can see it a little bit. I mean, and the whole reason why I'm thinking that is the next thing, the last name Mancuso. Mm-hmm. There's 2 references to Mancuso. One would be, I believe it's Frank Mancuso, who produced almost, if not all, the Friday the 13th movies. But Nick Mancuso, who played Billy, the killer in the original Black Christmas. So, how am I doing so far?
Makes sense.
In Eugene and Jamie's living room, you can see the Hellraiser box.
Puzzle box.
To the left of...
He keeps putting his coffee cup over top of it to make you look over there a little bit,
absolutely.
But they never reference it, so it's just in the background. Oh, it's cool.
This kind of... The car that... Whenever they come up into Eugene and Jamie's place first, it kind of is similar color-wise, maybe make, I'm not sure about model, to the Evil Dead car that Sam Raimi used in probably everything. Ash versus Evil Dead, even the very first Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movie. It's the one that Uncle Ben was driving. Might be a little play on that. Church and Zoe.
Mm-hmm. It's turtles.
His pet turtles. Pet Cemeteries 1 and 2. The cat, Church, Zoe, the dog.
Yep.
Now, this one's a little bit... I mean, this goes real deep, and this goes back to my old horror movies days. The name Mrs. Collinswood, the librarian. That was the name of one of the characters from The Last House on the Left. So, that had to be put in there. I feel like a school teacher. Just
names are a big thing that spoofs use. They always... you have to kind of research some of them.
Names and stuff like that. You had Eugene's wife's name was Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
The last name of Kelly was Curtis. If we had a Lee...
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Bada bing. The Volkswagen bus that Taylor and Doug and Todd were driving around in. Microbus, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one.
Right here. Right, this guy right there.
That's him.
That's him.
That would be him.
Shout out to Art the Clown. Hey, David.
Hi, Dave. When he's putting the makeup on. Now, there's a couple in this one. And I mean, I literally watched this last night trying to check out Easter eggs and stuff, and saw the movie enough where I'm just focusing here, focusing there, and everything.
Yeah.
The music that he's playing, or is playing in the background when he's applying the makeup, is the music from the end of The Shining. When, you see Jack Torrance finally go into the photo and everything. Mm-hmm. Not only that, you really got to look at it, but there is, the way they have the shots set up is Taylor's kind of reflected in the mirror. There's one shot where she says, so you're going to do something by killing her or whatever. The reflection of the lamp on the end table, there's blocks. And it either spells out red rum or murder. One way or the other. Well, it's going to be one or the other. It's one or the other. If it spells murder out in the real word, the reflection's red rum. Shut up. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, that's
cool.
But
I want to ask, do you have any reference about the tire swing in front of the house? They kept showing it, and I have no idea what the reference would be.
thinking
was
of
swinging
that
behind
too,
her.
and I can't.
In the beginning, there's a scene in
Yeah.
front of Leslie's house.
The
and
tire
a tire
swings.
swing showing behind Taylor.
The only thing I can think of is Pet Cemetery. The tire swing from whenever, there's a tire swing down at the
Yeah,
bottom
I
of the
don't
hill,
know.
but I don't
So
know.
if you guys know any reference for a movie that we don't know for a tire swing swinging in front from a tree in front of a house, let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know.
Well, and Leslie Vernon supposedly was, as a child, handcuffed or tied up and thrown over Nellis Falls. Nellis Air Force Base, the original Hills Have Eyes. I mean, these guys went deep into it. The last one, well, the next to the last one I have. Leslie's up there in the barn and with Taylor, and he starts crying. I'm so happy. Maniac. That was a disturbing scene from Maniac that was from. But, I mean, this is how deep these guys went. Now
Maniac is a disturbing movie if you haven't seen it.
Great.
But for a good old slasher.
Now, this one, I might be reaching for. But once again, it's my trained eye from years and years of watching. When he's putting the makeup on, he's sitting at the table. To his right, at the little whatever vanity, there is a white bottle with a red cap. Okay? And the label, I couldn't zoom in far enough. That looks so reminiscent of the NoDoz or the Stay Awake pills from Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not 100% sure on that. If anybody else thinks so, let us know. Even if the directors, the writers, the producers of this movie can either verify that for me. I mean, that's what I got.
If it's there, it's cool. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not like a blatant,
But I mean, if it's there, and if you guys please check out the movie. I know it's 14 years old now, but it definitely holds up.
It's worth it. It's
great movie.
It's so worth it. I mean, just watching how, like I said, you watch all these slasher movies, and this actually shows you what kind of in-depth planning goes into everything.
And I was lucky enough to we're not friends or nothing, but meet at a convention Nathan, who plays Leslie, and Angela, I think her name is, who plays Taylor. Her right there. And they were really cool, really nice people.
Yeah, but see how buttoned up she is?
Oh,
everything, how it makes her look like she's, you don't even think about it.
I want to show you, there's a picture coming up, but her sweater, I think they were trying to do Mrs. Voorhees. Look at her sweater.
It's a good possibility.
I think it looks like it.
But did it zip up?
No. Not that. No, the one you just saw did, but the other one doesn't.
Okay.
I got a picture of it.
Yeah.
But, if you guys please check it out, download it. I think it's available on Amazon Prime maybe or something.
Fire stick it, whatever you got to do. I mean, I've watched it on YouTube. It's on there for free. I mean, you got to really dig for it, but I found it accidentally.
I don't want to condone piracy. I want the actors and directors to get their money.
Hey, if it's on YouTube, I mean, what can you do? You can buy or rent it on YouTube.
I know. Yeah, you can buy it on YouTube too. I saw that.
Buy or rent, whatever.
So yeah, if you guys see anything that we didn't talk about, I guess let us know. But you touched on a lot.
I don't know if I got them all, but
pretty much. I mean, you're naming the ones I knew or ones I didn't even realize. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this though: at the end of what we said about watching through the credits, one of the people in the scene through the end credits is Kane Hodder. I just found that out.
What do you mean?
Well, what part of one of the two people in the scene at the end
killer?
credits
what? Really?
Is Kane Hodder.
How?
Well, it's kind of easy. They filmed it and they said, "Hey, Kane, we need you to do this."
No,
I'm trying to
it's
do
not
this
him on there.
Nah,
I'm not saying it, but it's no way.
It's not this one. It's the other one.
Dude,
I'm telling you,
he looks small, young.
Well, the camera's really far
tiny,
away.
little,
Trust me, it's him.
I don't know.
It's been verified.
Where'd you see that at?
I'll show
check
you.
your sources.
I will definitely show you to you after this because well, hey,
Anyway,
nice little dead air there as we both sipped water.
We do that a lot. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot. Like I said, a lot of little secret stuff you can see. So
one of the things I really we kind of glossed over, but like for the first 2/3 of the movie, it's shot guerrilla style. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't see Todd and you don't see Doug until the last third of the movie because they're the camera guys. One or the other one, or both of them are always filming. One's always kind of doing this, and it's always Taylor and Leslie and if they go to Eugene and Jamie's house, they're always on there, and they did it kind of like it's not well thought out. We've got this that until the end of the movie, until she grabs the camera and she goes to throw it into the van.
She says
that's it. The documentary's over now.
Yeah, that's
the last third of the film is shot like a normal film, steady cam or well thought out. Yeah. Everything else. It's interesting how they flipped everything.
Which I'm sure saved them a lot of money.
Well, I'm sure too. And I know there's an industry term for it where you switch how camera shooting styles were or something. But I just really thought it was interesting how they, did that.
Just another smart thing that they thought of. Yeah. Yeah, definitely cool.
Definitely, yeah. And like I said, once again, give us a watch. I mean, it's brilliant writing. I really thought, and once again, it's not trying to ride the coattails or the, what do you want to call it, the shroud tales or the cloak tales of, Ghostface and everything from Scream, but it's...
Yeah, that's the thing is I wouldn't even compare it to it at all. I mean, I get where you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like if you watch this, you don't think Scream at all.
Yeah, exactly, because, in Scream, of course, Jason was, and Leatherface, they were just movies.
They were movies, yeah.
But they were talking about the rules and everything of the movie. This kind of takes all that.
It's the rules, except Michael, Jason, Freddy, Chucky. They were all real
people. They weren't just film characters or whatever.
Like I said, they were R. Dahmer and Manson,
right,
all them kinds.
But yeah, it's it's a different take on it. And to be honest with you, I really think the way they did it and the idea of the script and however. It was, once again, a really completely off-the-wall but original idea.
Yeah.
What if, there was a film crew that was documenting the whole way of somebody who wants to be the next up-and-coming slasher, wants to be the next Krueger, wants to be the... I really enjoy it.
Think about, how many urban legends there are that are just that, urban legends, that anybody could just say, hey, I'm going to go and... I'm going to come back, start killing people, and say I'm that person.
If you're
from the legend.
Yeah. If you're from around the area Jim and I grew up in, Beaver County, we had the legend of the Green Man. Mm-hmm. Or what they rudely called him, Charlie No Face.
Yeah.
Do a Google search on Charlie No Face. Trust me.
Yeah, I know somebody who knew him personally.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people did, but that's an urban legend that somebody could say, I'm going to come back and say that I'm the Green Man or I'm Charlie No Face and start killing people.
Yeah, exactly. And he was
that's
one of the
what
nicest,
this movie is.
He was one of the nicest guys I've heard that ever was in Beaver County. I mean,
I did too.
Tragic
My
accident.
mom told me the same thing. Yeah.
Tragic accident, but he lived.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's the premise though, which is smart. I think. I mean, it's definitely smart because every town has a legend.
Why don't they do a movie called Never mind.
Oh, wait a minute. Why don't they make a good movie?
Why don't they make a
good movie called Urban Legend?
What else we got to talk about?
I don't know, man.
Anything else you want to touch on? Something in the movie? Anything else?
Am I missing anything?
Oh, no. Other than the fact that apparently one of the other smart things was, whenever the first time Doc Halloran, which is another Easter egg that I just popped into my head. Doc was the nickname of Danny Torrance. And Halloran is something, I think, from The Shining as well. I haven't seen that movie in decades. Yeah. But that whole scene, whenever Doc Halloran comes in, shoots at Leslie, he hits him in, I took one in the shoulder. Oh, are you okay? That's all right, I was wearing a vest.
Yeah.
Well, does that just completely break the whole thing of, like, what Eugene was saying? They kept coming back and coming back. Does that say that's how Jason was supposedly able to take that bullet?
Yeah.
Did Michael wear one? I mean, I'm telling you right now, a bulletproof vest ain't going to stop a shabow.
Well, no, because we saw blood coming out of the bullet wounds and stuff. No, I mean, it was cool that they referenced that, but if you fact check it, no, it doesn't really add up for the other killers. But it's cool that that they talked about it.
And how excited they were. We got our Ahab. Got our Ahab. Yeah. What the hell's an Ahab? And, they kind of touch on it. And,
it's basically going after your white whale.
Yeah.
Loomis,
the red herring thing, too. Yeah. Well, before we touch on the red herring, the Ahab, what did they say? Somebody, no matter what, is going to try to justify good in the world, no matter what it takes, no matter what cost. Much like, we said it too, he is Loomis to Michael as Doc Halloran was to Leslie.
Yeah.
I mean, even down to the way the beard was shaped and the
yeah.
similar dress. Not
He had a
dead
trench
nuts.
coat.
Yeah, trench coat, whatever.
Yeah.
Had the gun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
But we're getting to see a serial killer that talks, jokes, so he has a combination of all the other ones.
Extremely seems like the guy next door normal, and all of a sudden, something...
Yep.
And that one picture you just saw there where he's stretching out his face going, and he's putting the makeup on and all that, and
when you
he's fireproofing.
But when you realize that, oh, Christ, I lost it again.
Okay.
Shit, go back.
I don't want to go back.
What were we talking about?
Well, before you blew a brain fart, I was going to say we're going on a red herring. What's a red herring? And you can almost tell that if you listen to his wording, it's almost he's trying to clue Taylor in that she's going to be the final girl. It's kind of something to throw off, Kelly. Well, I kind of read that as, and once again, I'm probably looking too deep into it, but that was kind of Leslie trying to almost prod Taylor and saying, guess what? This isn't what it's going to be. It's a red herring, but I'm just going to make it the library.
Yeah.
So it's.
And I think Eugene and Jamie knew the whole time too.
I think
because he keeps looking at her and saying, "Is this okay?" And they know.
Even the whole thing about Eugene saying, "Oh, she's a little spitfire."
I like this one.
Yeah, I like this one. Well, that might be some kind of retired slasher, code of saying, "Hey,
this is the one." Yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, little things like that you can notice and appreciate if you're a horror fan. So.
And Leslie didn't take too much damage in this. Much like other people. I mean, he got the hand scythe in the side whenever he was choking Taylor
but
at
you
the
didn't
end.
even see it sticking out, so I don't even think it's stuck in there.
Well,
I looked and then I didn't see it still sticking out.
Exactly. It didn't. She kind of stabbed him and then did the old apple.
Yeah.
Squeezed the apple cider out of his Adam's apple.
Yeah, yeah, he does. She squeezes his head in the apple press.
And then his last words. Taylor, I knew you were the one.
Yep.
So, to make his legend.
Well, he said, after tonight, I'll either be on a run, in jail, or dead.
Well, yeah. Kind of.
So either he was going to kill Taylor because she wasn't the one and he was going to have to leave, or she was going to kill him, or they were going to call the cops on him, which he knew they could have because they couldn't sit there and let this happen. So he knew what was going to happen.
He only took, seriously, he took one shot in the shoulder, blocked by a vest. He took the little hand side this side.
Axe in the chest, but it didn't go in his chest. It was just a stick and it broke.
That's what I was going to ask next. I mean,
it just broke.
Somewhere he said the pickaxe was...
But she grabbed the regular axe.
She grabbed the regular axe.
From the back of the shed because she thought it was okay. It wasn't. He
said he rigged a pickaxe, but then that's what when she swung,
it broke.
I thought she hit him, but apparently it came off. The sledgehammer was rigged and all that shit.
And then when she set the thing on fire, she threw the stick, the axe handle, into the fire because it broke. And she was saying, "Screw you."
I want to know is how the hell did Doc Halloran survive? I mean, it looked like he got.
Yeah, I mean,
did he kind of miss? Because the way he went down in that pain that
he was definitely stabbed, but probably just sliced right here.
And poor Doug. If you want her, you're gonna have to go through me. Clonk, you're done.
I love her. Yeah, he didn't care.
Yeah.
But it was funny, setting all the traps, setting all the, You're like, oh, wait, he didn't pull her off the ladder, and then 5 minutes later, he pulls her off the ladder. So he had it all planned. It just didn't happen in the time he told them it was going to happen.
Well, that's kind of like I said, that plan A, plan B, a little bit from here, or whatever. It was,
Yep.
I loved his different ways of getting into places to make it look like he was either supernatural or whatever, being able to come out of here, go here.
Yeah.
Like, even whenever he killed the first stoner in the shed, and that guy's like, oh, what's going on?
He disappears behind the other guy.
Like, he came out behind the shed, behind the other one, and he's holding that damn post hole digger.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they play on everything. They really do. They play on everything.
They definitely don't rely on the gore or anything, so it's not like
don't.
It's a smart movie. So I think people who are like, I don't like watching horror movies because of the gore, you'll still appreciate this if you just appreciate a good script.
They left it to your imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe...
I want to say real quick, in the library, there's an improvised scene where Leslie says, Paradise Lost found it. Nathan improvised that scene, I read.
Okay.
It wasn't even in the script, so he just picked up that. He turned and saw it there, and he just thought to say that.
So I didn't know that. Are there any deleted scenes?
I haven't looked for any. So
I'm gonna have to check and see if there's some deleted scenes. I mean, every good movie has deleted scenes, or
you would think.
Whatever, But that's all I've got.
That's all I got. But this is a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah, I mean, I love this movie.
Like I said, it was fresh. It was, once again, I think it was an original idea.
It's hard to actually talk about the other horror movies and still come off as original. Like, it's
really
original.
Is. Yeah.
Even though they're doing exactly what the other movies do,
and
it's original.
And like you kept, joking about, you're gonna get the name right. Behind the music, like VH1, it was behind the mask. I mean,
The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
And that's the other thing too. I really like that mask. It's just so plain.
Yeah.
And just, it.
Little hair on the top.
The top. Yeah.
Little straps in the back. I mean, it's nothing crazy like the other ones are. And then hopefully at some point they get the funding and script to make Behind the Mask: The Return of Leslie Vernon. Hopefully.
Yeah, I would like to see
it. It would be awesome. So we'll see what happens.
I'd actually, volunteer time to be in it. I mean,
please, I'll
do it. Absolutely. I don't care. I mean, ram a post hole through my chest. I mean,
for real or not, I don't care. Just give me the movie.
Well, let's not go that far.
As long as I can wear my Slashcast shirt.
Yeah, really.
In the movie, we'll just be standing there and you can kill us.
Hey, we could be doing a podcast from Leslie Vernon's. Hey, wow.
What?
We could be doing a podcast from Leslie Vernon's house and everything, and it could be.
You want to go to Oregon?
Well, Oregon, wherever,
That's where they filmed the movie.
I don't care. Oregon, whatever,
I don't know.
They could be, that could be like a little throw into Halloween Resurrection. Kind of a movie about, we're going to go to Michael Myers' house and we're going to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm really stretching.
All right. We're good, though.
All right.
But thank you for watching and listening now on darkdiscussions.com. And I think Facebook would be Dark Discussions Network. I'm not sure, but we'll have more information on the next episode. But hopefully this one will be on that website soon. So
yes,
check it out. Thanks for watching, listening for episode 20. I was Jim.
I'm still Chevy.
And we will see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.